Okay, so today we are going to be working with adding event listeners. Adding event listeners. Right now, I have my basic setup. I have a div that says testing in the middle. I have a button with the ID click me, and it says click me. And I also have an image already there, okay? I have my styling a little bit. I have my background with a purple. I have 75 by 200 button, and I also have a 200 by 200 image. Okay, so my styling is already set up, and we have a basic thing going on right here. Okay, so you can go ahead and pause. Make sure you have a setup similar to this. What we're going to do is when we click this button, this text is going to change. And when we hover over this button, this text is going to change as well. Okay, so you want two elements to work with, to play around with, and something to display those results. Okay, so go ahead and pause right there, get your little setup going, and then come back. Once you have your setup with those three things, we're going to go ahead and head over to our JS. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is create a variable for that button. Right now, we're just going to start with the button. So that's why we're starting with a variable for the button. So I'm going to go ahead and call it fire button. And that is, we're going to go to the document and we're going to get element by ID. Okay. Gonna go over here and just copy and paste this. It's just easier to avoid typos. I'm gonna go ahead and paste that in there. Okay, so we have our first variable and we are going to scoop up that button. So how we add an event listener is going to that variable, which is scooping up that button. Yeah. And we're going to add event listener. Now, the basic structure or syntax of an event listener when you're adding is going to be the type, comma, and then a function. Okay. Again, when we're adding an event listener, dot add event listener, and in the parentheses, we're going to have our type and we're going to have our function. Now, there are different types, obviously, of event listeners, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to be working with click and mouse over. So right now, since we're working with the button, we're going to go ahead and start with click. So type, I'm going to put click, and then we have our function. In the curly braces, we're going to write our code block. Okay, this is what's going to happen when this event happens. Okay, so again, what we want to do is when we click this, we want to go here and we want to change that text. All right, so first we have to make another variable that is going to go scoop up that text. So let's go ahead and let's say change div. That's going to go to the document. I don't have an ID, so we're just going to go ahead and do query selector. Okay, and we're just going to put div. Again, the reason why I'm using query selector is because I didn't even have an ID, and it's only one div in here since it's simple. So change div, we're going to go scoop up that div, and in our code, block of code, we're going to change that. So change div, that means we're going to go to that div, we're going to that div that says testing, and we're going to change that text. Now I don't want to even change the format. So text content is going to say, let's say something simple like the button has been clicked. Okay, go ahead and save that. Again, so let's go over this. We started a variable and we are scooping up that button. We're going to that button. We also have a variable that's going to change our div. We're going to our div. When this is clicked, when the event listener is clicked, this is going to happen. We're going to go to that div that says testing, and that testing should turn into the button has been clicked. Let's go to this button, and this should change. So keep your eye on this. I'm going to click. The button has been clicked. Okay. So we can do the same thing using the same method, same concept, and we're going to, instead of clicking the image, we're just going to hover over the image, okay? So let's go back to our code. I'm going to keep this here. All right, so this time we want to not add an event to the button, but we're going to add an event to the image, and that event is going to be the hover. So first we have to go ahead and scoop up that image. So let's do fire image equals going to the documents. And again, I don't have an ID for it. I don't believe I do. Yeah, I don't have an ID for it. So we're just going to do query selector. And go ahead and put image. Again, it's only one image. It's simple. That's going to work fine for us right now. So fire image is going to the document, and we're going to scoop up that image, okay? Now, we're going to add an event listener. So you can follow along with this format here, okay? Again, we're going to go to that image. We're going to add event listener. And again, the format is type, comma, and then our function. Okay. So our type, instead of click, is going to be mouse over. Okay. Mouse over this time. And we're going to write our block of code inside of our function. Again, we have a universal variable right here, so we can use the same thing that we did here, okay? So we're going to go back to that div, and we're going to change the text of it. And this time, let's go the image. Oops. Has, oh my gosh, has been moused over. Okay, so again, we're scooping up that image. We're adding an event listener, and this time the type in quotations is going to be mouse over, followed by a comma separated, and then our function with our block of code right here. That is going to go to that div. It's going to change the text to the image has been moused over. So let's go over here, refresh, and as soon as we mouse over, this should change. Oh, and it did not. So let's go over here and see what we have done. All right, doing. We have this, we have that. Oh, I did not save. See, that's what I'm talking about, all the typos. There we go. All right, we can come back here and we can click over on this as well. The button has clicked or has been clicked. We're going to mouse over this again. The image has been mouse over, clicked, mouse over, okay? So that's the basic add event listener with click and mouse over. In the next video, we'll be doing key down, submit, and change. All right, thank you for watching. Play around with this and have fun.